Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Anita Wu. The headlines. More aid for the people after BKC, says Prime Minister. And endemic phase, 4 ministries to meet over new SOP relaxations. We'll begin with a headlining story. With payments for the special COVID-19 aid BKC to be paid out from Monday, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the government would channel more assistance to the people starting next month. The Prime Minister also insisted that the BKC cash vouchers must reach the recipients without any delay, adding that BKC is among some of the assistance to help ease the burden of the people affected by COVID-19. The Prime Minister also asked the Finance Ministry to ensure smooth running of the BKC payments, especially to recipients residing in rural areas far from banking access or who do not have a bank account. According to the Finance Ministry's data, there are 708,223 eligible BKC recipients who do not have a bank account. While witnessing the process via video conference because he is still undergoing self-quarantine, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also interacted with BKC recipients at several Bank Simpanan Nasional BSN branches in Putrajaya, Sabah, Sarawak, Kelantan, Pahang, Perlis and Johor. The Prime Minister also obtained a direct report from Finance Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz, who witnessed the process at BSN Putrajaya. He also obtained feedback from Deputy Finance Minister Muhammad Shah Abdullah, who witnessed the process at BSN Triang in Bura, Pahang. The Prime Minister also expressed hope that the BKC will alleviate the burden of the Malaysian families affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Those eligible to receive the BKC are the hardcore poor and B40 households, or senior citizens living alone and earning below 5,000 ringgit per month, or single individuals earning below 2,500 ringgit per month based on the Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat BPR 2021 recipient criteria. Meanwhile, the M40 households earning between 5,001 ringgit and 9,000 ringgit, or single individuals earning between 2,501 ringgit and 5,000 ringgit, are also eligible to receive the BKC. Senior Defence Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein will meet 3 of his cabinet colleagues soon to discuss adjustments and relaxations to the Standard Operating Procedures SOPs. Datuk Seri Hishamuddin said the move was in line with Malaysia's transition to the endemic stage of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is projected to begin in late October. Datuk Seri Hishamuddin, who disclosed this in a statement on Monday, said the 3 are the Health Minister, Khairi Jamaluddin, Finance Minister, Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz, and Communications and Multimedia Minister, Tan Sri Anwar Musa. He said among the things that have to be considered with the relaxations are national safety concerns. The relaxations include the much-anticipated lifting of the interstate travel ban and the reopening of more sectors. He, however, said the government would still prioritise lives and health in this period, where it tries to reinforce the economy and balance it with the people's well-being. Datuk Seri Hishamuddin added that he had also instructed the National Security Council to update the SOPs and relaxations given to relevant ministries to allow it to be easily understood. Sabah will receive some 2.89 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine this month towards increasing the vaccination rate in the state. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said with the delivery of the vaccine supply, the government is confident that Sabah would increase its vaccination rate to 60,000 or up to 70,000 doses daily to enable 60% of the state's adult population to be vaccinated by the end of this month.
Kita masih lagi berpegang kepada sasaran 60% daripada penduduk dewasa Sabah akan lengkap vaksinasi pada akhir bulan September dan 80% daripada penduduk dewasa Sabah akan lengkap vaksinasi pada akhir bulan Oktober seperti mana sasaran nilai ambang yang telah pun ditetapkan.
Khairi added that to achieve this target, the Sabah State Government and Health Department will hold more mobile outreach programs, with over 130 outreach programs planned for September and October. He said this at a news conference held at Menara Kinabalu, Sabah on Monday. Khairi said that after reaching the target of 80% of Sabah's adult population being fully vaccinated by October, it could then start vaccinating adolescents, but this would depend on the level of vaccination achieved. The Johor government hopes the federal government will expedite providing the COVID-19 vaccine for those aged 18 and below in the country. Speaking during the State Assembly on Monday, Menteri Besar Datuk Hasni Mohamad said that providing the vaccine to the group was vital in generating a wider herd immunity in society.
Sekiranya kita memerlukan bukan hanya untuk dos ketiga ataupun booster jab ini, yang lebih penting ialah yang bawah 18 tahun.
To date, Johor has received 4.7 million vaccine doses under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme, and the state is expected to receive a donation of 100,640 doses more of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine from the Singapore government. As of Sunday, Johor had achieved a vaccination rate of 83.1% for adults who had received at least a single dose, and 52.6% had completed the vaccination. Individuals who have completed their doses of vaccines overseas need to report their status at the nearest district health office. The Special Committee for Ensuring Access to COVID-19 Vaccine Supply, JKJAV, said the move is part of the process of getting their digital vaccination certificate on the MySejahtera application. In his Twitter account, the committee said the individual needs to provide proof of completed vaccination, whether it was 2 doses or a single dose from overseas. Proof of full vaccination is through the vaccination card or certificate issued by the particular country. The District Health Office would then verify and send the information to MySejahtera through the Health Department for the vaccination certificate to be issued. Meanwhile, the committee noted that the number of daily vaccines administered recorded a declining trend, where a total of 289,958 injection doses were given on Sunday, compared to 300,501 doses on Saturday. It involved 136,177 first doses of the vaccine. 153,841 completed doses have been administered through the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme. Vaccination for the adult population increased to 68%, or 15.9 million individuals, while the figure for those who have received their first dose stands at 87.8%, or 20.5 million people. Sarawak's new cases breached the 3,000 mark for the first time. Previously, the highest number of infections recorded in Sarawak was 2,992 cases on September 2nd. The Health Ministry said that more than 17,352 new cases were detected on Monday, with Sarawak recording the highest number of infections, with 3,714 cases, followed by Selangor and Johor. A record 272 patients succumbed to the deadly virus, with 81 patients brought in dead. The figure brings the country's COVID-19 death toll to 18,491. The number of patients at the intensive care unit dipped below the 1,000 mark, with 435 people still in need of ventilators. Of the 30 new clusters detected, 16 were related to workplaces. Employers will be supplied with COVID-19 test kits in an initiative to contain the spread of the virus at workplaces. Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said the initiative, known as Recovery Phase COVID-19 Screening Programme, kicked off on Monday following the reopening of more economic sectors under Phases 1 and 2 of the National Recovery Plan. The Minister said that providing employers with the test kits will support efforts to ensure workplaces are safe from COVID-19, adding that workers were among those who were affected by the pandemic, with workplace clusters being reported every day. He added that this did not only affect them, but also the economy as well as other industries, and said that to date, SOCSO had made 11.7 million ringgit in compensation payments to workers who had been affected by COVID-19. Datuk Seri Saravanan said employers will be responsible in coordinating the screening process at their respective workplaces with clinics, hospitals or training doctors of their choice. He added that this approach was hoped to lessen the employer's burden, who would now only need to bear costs to carry out the tests that was being charged by hospitals or clinics. Aside from assisting employers, this program would also allow the ministry to monitor screening processes through detailed reports that need to be submitted to the authorities. The Education Ministry has agreed to reopen schools in the Federal Territory of Labuan beginning October 3rd, with the first phase involving students of Forms 5 and 6. Senior Education Minister Datuk Dr. Razzie Jidin said the decision to reopen schools in Labuan was made after taking into account that the duty-free island is the only state or federal territory that has entered Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan, where COVID-19 infections are manageable. Dr. Razzie said that while schools can be reopened on October 3rd for Forms 5 and 6, the reopening of the schools in the island will be done in stages.
Bila kita nak buka sekolah nanti, kita akan buka mengikut fasa ketika itu. Ya, mungkin pada 3 Oktober nanti jumlah negeri dalam fasa keempat mungkin ada lagi beberapa negeri yang masuk ke situ. Ya.
He said the second phase of the school reopening for other students, namely pupils of primary schools and secondary school students from Forms 1, 2, 3 and 4, with a capacity of 50% attendance, would be done in the 2 weeks after October 3rd through the flipped classroom or class rotation method. Dr. Razzie said the Education Ministry had received input and views on the proposed reopening of schools from the Labuan Disaster Management Committee on Sunday. Coming up next, man cheats death in a 6-vehicle pileup. Don't go away. Welcome back. Still on Nightline. The lorry driver responsible for a road accident involving 5 other vehicles on Jalan Ipoh on Monday has tested positive for drugs. In a statement, City Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief ACP Saifuddin Muhammad Saleh said tests conducted on the lorry driver found he had not been drinking but was under the influence of methamphetamine and amphetamine. In the incident at around 2:40 p.m, a motorist escaped with only light injuries to his face in the 6-vehicle pileup. Videos of the incident went viral on social media on Monday, showing the lorry rear-ending the victim's yellow Myvi, pushing it forward and causing other collisions. The victim's car was pinned between the lorry and an SUV and was crushed by the force of the impact. Sharifuddin said the case is being investigated as a case of driving under the influence of drugs and causing death or injury. If convicted, the driver faces a jail term of between 3 and 10 years and a fine between 8,000 ringgit and 20,000 ringgit. Over in Sabah, the body of the Pro 2 Myvi driver had been found on Monday, 3 days after currents had pushed the vehicle off a low-lying bridge at the Sinulihan River in Inanam. The body of Simon Sangatupe, 68, was retrieved near SK Pomotodon just after noon. On Friday, Simon, who is believed to be the driver of the car, and passenger, 27-year-old Juning Maturun, went missing after their vehicle was swept away by currents as they attempted to cross the submerged bridge during Friday's downpour. A video of the incident went viral, which shows the car attempting to cross a low bridge with water raging over it. Juning's body was found still inside the vehicle at 7:20 a.m. on Saturday, some 3 kilometers away in Kampung Dambai. Whereas over in Perak, a car salesman was charged at the Sri Manjung Magistrates Court with 3 counts of driving in a dangerous manner that resulted in the death of 3 individuals last month. A.R. Satyaganis, 38, however, pleaded not guilty to all the charges. He was charged with reckless driving, which resulted in the death of motorcyclist Muhammad Suhail Zainal, 22, and his pillion rider Hasrandi Bahrum, 27, and another motorcyclist Muhammad Nur Hisham Hassan, 29, at kilometre 4 Jalan Kampung Aceh Sitiawan on August 21st. In the same proceedings, Satya also claimed trial to a charge of self-administration of methamphetamine at the Narcotics Criminal Investigation Division Office of the Manjung District Police Headquarters on August 23rd. Magistrate Nurul Izalina Rajai allowed Satya bail of 3,500 ringgit with 1 surety on each of the charges for reckless driving and 2,000 ringgit for the drug offence. In Negeri Sembilan, a couple was charged at the Kuala Pilah Magistrates Court with abusing their infant son last month. However, no plea was recorded from the 17-year-old mother and the victim's 23-year-old stepfather, who works as a petrol station cashier. The accused, Muhammad Afiq Abdullah, and the child's birth mother, was charged with committing the offence between August 3rd and 25th, causing the 16-month-old boy to suffer from physical injuries to the head, eyes, body and soles of his feet. They were charged under Section 31 in brackets 1A of the Child Act 2001, punishable under Section 34 of the same legislation, and face a fine of up to 50,000 ringgit or jail time for a maximum of 20 years or both upon conviction. Magistrate Saiful Sayoti set bail at 10,000 ringgit for the male suspect and 6,000 ringgit for his wife, and fixed October 4th for re-mention, pending a medical report of the accused. The duo were arrested last month after police received a report from a medical officer at the Air Kuning Selatan Government Clinic who noticed the victim's injuries. The baby was believed to have been punched in the face and had burn marks on his body, believed to be from cigarette butts and an iron. In Pahang, 3 ex-convicts who were suspected of stealing electronic equipment around Kuantan were arrested on Monday. The 3 gang members were aged between 39 and 51, had up to 25 criminal records. Then Police Chief ACP Muhammad Nur Yusuf Ali said his officers started tracking a gang known as Gang Ahai since July, after cases of robberies at electronic stores were reported involving hundreds of thousands of ringgit. Based on surveillance, police nabbed the 3 suspects in Kampung Tengah and Air Putih, Kuantan on September 1st and seized tools believed to be used for house robbery. Police also seized various electronic items used for the vehicles worth 50,000 ringgit, believed to be stolen from a store in Kuantan on August 30th.
Target mereka itu. Kita sedang mengenal pasti kemungkinan mereka ini ada apabila melakukan pecah rumah dan memperoleh barangan tersebut, mungkin dipercayai ada supplier ataupun telah ada pembeli untuk dijual kepada mereka oleh suspek.
Police also seized a car that was reportedly stolen in Johor. The suspects were remanded for a week and the case is being investigated under the Penal Code for house robbery and theft. The suspects face a 14-year jail term, whipping and fines upon conviction. Coming up after this break, New Zealand lifts curbs as Delta variant elimination in sight. Stay tuned. We're back with news on the foreign front. The West African state of Guinea awaited word on its future on Monday as a new military junta summoned the outgoing cabinet a day after toppling the president. Elite troops led by Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya told outgoing ministers and institutional leaders to gather at 11 a.m. local time at Parliament in the capital Conakry and warned that any refusal to attend would be considered a rebellion. Impoverished and volatile, the West African state was hit by fresh turmoil on Sunday when special forces arrested 83-year-old President Alpha Condé, declared that they were scrapping the constitution and imposed a curfew. Land and air borders have been shut, the government dissolved, and top governors and other senior administrators have also been replaced by the military. Discontent had been growing for months after a flatlining COVID-hit economy and the leadership of Condé, who became Guinea's first democratically elected president in 2010. Over in Afghanistan, the Taliban said Monday they had captured the last pocket of resistance in the country, the Panjshir Valley, even as opposition fighters vowed to keep up their struggle against the group. Following the lightning-fast rout of Afghanistan's army last month and celebrations when the last US troops flew out after 20 years of war, the Taliban turned to fight the forces defending the mountainous Panjshir Valley. In a statement, it said with this victory, the country is now completely taken out of the quagmire of war. The National Resistance Front, made up of anti-Taliban militia and former Afghan security forces, in the meantime said its fighters were still present in strategic positions across the valley and that they were continuing the struggle. Late Sunday, they had acknowledged suffering major battlefield losses in Panjshir and called for a ceasefire. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern on Monday said nationwide coronavirus curbs would be lifted, barring the biggest city of Auckland, as the country gets on top of an outbreak of the Delta variant. Ardern, who said restrictions would be eased outside of Auckland from Wednesday, is continuing to pursue an elimination strategy for the disease.
Moving to level 2 is progress, though, and it is positive, but it comes with a warning. We've done so well to get this outbreak under control. Level 4 restrictions are working, but the job is not done. We're within sight of elimination, but we cannot drop the ball.
The easing of the alert status to level 2 from level 3 in the rest of the country will allow the reopening of schools, offices and businesses. However, about 1.7 million people in Greater Auckland, the epicenter of the outbreak, will remain in a full level 4 lockdown until at least September 14th. New Zealand had been largely virus-free, excluding a small cluster of cases in February, until an infected traveller from Australia seeded an outbreak that prompted Ardern to impose the national lockdown last week.
I've got the boy. I just got to get obs on them. Get on the fire and get on the PA and tell them to get
So unprofessional. Garbin Muguruza not happy with Barbara Krejcikova's medical timeout. Sports coming up next. Don't go away. We're back with sports news now. French Open champion Barbara Krejcikova held off a spirited comeback from former number one Garbiñe Muguruza to advance to her first US Open quarter-final. Muguruza, however, did not like how her fourth-round match against Krejcikova ended. The 8th-seeded Krejcikova took a medical timeout after Muguruza had overcome a 4-love deficit in the second set to take a 6-5 lead. And when play resumed after the break, Krejcikova won 7 points in a row. She also angered the 9th-seeded Muguruza by taking her time between points in the ensuing tiebreaker of a 6-3, 7-6 win. The 25-year-old from the Czech Republic plays number 2 seed Aryna Sabalenka on Tuesday for a spot in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Carlos Alcaraz of Spain became the youngest man to reach the quarter-finals at the US Open since 1963. The Spaniard outlasted his 32-year-old foe, 141st ranked qualifier, Peter Kajauczyk of Germany, 5-7, 6-1, 5-7, 6-2, 6-love. Felix now plays 12th seed Felix Auger-Aliassime. In closing, the International Motor Show IAA in Germany will be held in Munich for the first time this year, and the focus will shift from gas-guzzling supercars to electric mobility. The show, which was previously held in Frankfurt, will be a hybrid show with both in-person and online visitors. Let's take a quick look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Anita. Thank you for watching, and be well, Malaysia.
you.